I have the pleasure of introducing our two lovely wahine to you guys tonight. We have two speakers, and our first speaker is Cheryse, who was raised in Lualualei Valley, Wai'anae. She is the oldest of 7 children and is a constant role model to those around her. She graduated from Wai'anae High School and attended Leeward Community College through an internship with Maui Organic Farms and their youth leadership training program. She received her associate degree in liberal arts with a certificate in community food security in 2010. After obtaining her AA, her associate's degree, she was asked to be one of the farm co-managers at Maui Organic Farms, where she managed and trained younger interns on farm production while learning in depth about farm operations and business. She then went on to finish her BA in Hawaiian Studies at Hawai'inuiakea School of Hawaiian Knowledge, graduating in fall 2012. Cheryse was then promoted to the farm manager of Maui Organic Farms. At Maui Organic Farms, she manages the daily operations with 40 plus young adults, where they harvest, wash, pack, and deliver about 1 to 2 tons of fresh produce 3 times a week on Oahu. So the salad you're enjoying tonight comes from them. Her kuleana is not only to feed people, but to grow the future leaders of Hawaii through practice of aloha āina. Cheryse believes that this is the time of mana moana, and the ancient knowledge of our kupuna from all over the Pacific will be revealed again. Our indigenous knowledge has not yet been forgotten, we just have not remembered them yet. We welcome Cheryse.
Okay, aloha, can you guys hear me? I tend to speak soft and away from the mic sometimes, so I get nervous. But mahalo to Christy and everyone involved to getting this event together. It's really lovely to be here. So I'm just gonna explain a little bit about my story and the work that I do here in Wai'anae. So I'm currently the farm manager at Maui Organic Farms. It's in right up the road in Lualualei Valley on Puhawai Road. So it's all in the back in Lualualei, and it's a wonderful place to be. So a couple key points that I wanted to have you guys think about and to keep in mind is these things that I'm bringing up with in my work, and all of it has to do with education, and not with only education in college in sense, but education with peer mentoring to each other as a way of growth and learning as well. The idea to love, respect, and the willingness to work, being able to take opportunities and figuring out or learning what you value most. So before we get ahead, I want to ground myself and show you guys a little bit about my foundation. So it's my feet, by the way, just letting you guys know. I'm the oldest of 7, as Christy said earlier. So growing up, I had choke kuleana. I was already a role model, just being the oldest, because everything was me. And it wasn't because I was spoiled or anything, it's just I was the first. And I don't know if anybody here is the first or maybe the only child, but sometimes there's a bigger expectation level for those hiapo. And it's a burden. I don't want to say it's a burden, but there's a lot of weight on your shoulder, especially if you want to be somebody important to somebody else, yeah, or be important to your family and friends. So being the oldest, I also got disciplined the most, which is where I am now. It got me to the place, thankfully, that I'm here today. And I want to give you guys a quick story. Stories of how I got to this place. You know, as Hawaiians, we like to talk a long time about how we got to our place now. So I was really nervous to try new things, and one of them was wrestling. Kind of dark here, but that's me pinning a girl. And you learn a lot of things about wrestling. And in sports in general, you win some, you lose some. That's me, 5th place. So I lost a couple matches, but I was placed that high in states last year. And you learn a lot about discipline and teamwork and being able to be humble, hard work, and just never give up. Yeah, just to never give up sometimes. And especially in our community, sometimes we feel like giving up. And through wrestling, I learned a lot about that, and all those characteristics pushed onto what I do today. So that's me graduating. I was actually my class salutatorian. So I had the second highest GPA of my graduating class in 2007. And I was a part of the Hawaiian Studies program at Wai'anae High School. And like a lot of my mom was just so happy, like, just go college. As long as you go college. She never know where, she never cared where, she just wanted me to go college. My mom and dad, my mom got her GED, my dad got his diploma, both went college, but they both dropped out. Both hardworking people, you know, your typical Hawaiian family, like, they let you do better than yourself, yeah? So, but I was lazy a little bit. As smart as I was and good grades as I got, I was lazy. I never do any scholarships, no financial aid. And then I actually went through Ma'o's high school internship program. And then I found out they had a college internship. And I applied, and then I was like, okay, I just can go LCC, and I'll just transfer to Manoa. And that was my plan. So I already had it set that that's what I wanted to do, because in my gut, in my na'au, I always wanted to do Hawaiian studies. And I always loved working outside, loved learning about my Hawaiian history, Hawaiian culture, and that's where I ended. Yeah, at Maui Organic Farms. Maui is actually an acronym from Ai Ōpio, which is the Food Youth Garden. It's a social enterprise, and it's about 14 years old now. So in the program, it's a two and a half years internship. So you work on the farm. At the time, I went to LCC, but now Maui is helping to pay tuition at UH Manoa as well, if you get accepted, because that's where we want our kids, yeah, to go to four-year universities. And starting, you get a $500 educational stipend. And I'm proud to say that Pua, Shea, and Jessica also went and graduated through this program. So they're the three young wahine over there doing the back scene. So I worked with them, yeah. So they all graduated. We're graduating. No, yeah, you graduated. You're good. But yeah, so that's what I did. And the typical things, this is like my first big time picture that I had. It was like in the midweek or something. And the midweek is not here anymore, yeah? So I was like super happy. I was like, oh yes, in the pepper. But so this is the picture that they chose. So what we do on the farm, we wash, harvest, pack, all certified organic vegetables. We do field work, so we plant, we weed, we fix irrigation, we go to the farmer's market, and we work amongst our peers. So Shay was in my group. So I was her alaka'i, so I was her leader and stuff like that. So we have a really good peer-to-peer mentoring work opportunities. Yeah, so here's a couple of things. There's educational protocol that we do. We harvest some of the vegetables that we do. It's kind of dark, but it's more vegetables. So there's things like beets as big as my head, literally, yeah. Beets, chard, citruses, that's Meyer lemons, and then our salad greens to the bottom right. You guys have some tonight. More funky vegetables. Yeah, so kale is a big thing, and funky things like kohlrabi. So these are the type of things, and you wouldn't believe if somebody was like, professionals have come to our mentors or like Gary and Kukui saying, you cannot grow that kind of stuff. You only can grow eggplant and basil. But what they don't know the āina, yeah? They don't know that the soil in Lualualei Valley is classified as Lualualei vertical soil. You cannot find this soil anywhere else in the world. Sometimes professionals don't know that stuff. Us as Native Hawaiians do, yeah? We know the culture, we know the history, we know that we grew hundreds and thousands of pounds of food here every year, every day, yeah? And that's what they don't know, but us as Native Hawaiians, we gotta know that ourselves, yeah? So we're at the farmer's market. It's a lot of interaction that made me be able to talk in front of people, thankfully. So get your veggies at Wai'anae's farmer's market. But every morning, what finally flipped the script for me, like not thinking it as just an internship or a job, was visions like this. Just that sight, it humbles you so much. And all you can do is just stop, breathe, and just watch. Like, that's all you feel like doing, yeah? Rain or shine, it's a beautiful place to be, yeah? It's our home, it's our āina. And it was during this time where I started to realize that what I'm doing is way bigger than me. Yeah, it's for my peers, it's for my family, it's for this community, it's for Native Hawaiians. And I just had this i'ini, this burning desire to just do good, yeah? So we'll go on the topic of excellence. I have, before Hokulea and Hikianalia left, they came to Wai'anae, and we, as Ma'o, a group of us actually got to go check out the boats, talk to the crew and stuff like that, so it was really good. But just recently, we had I'm a part of the First Nations Futures Fellowship Program with Kamehameha schools, and we had a session about the worldwide voyage. So Hokulea, going around the world, it's a three-year-long voyage, and we got to talk to a couple of the crew members, and Uncle Billy Richards talked about excellence. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful story, because he talked about him and his daughter. His daughter basically grew up around Hokulea and Hikianalia. And he said, as a daughter, you know, Nainoa Thompson, who I love and adore and look up to him as a role model, in certain ways, that was just uncle to her, yeah? Their point of excellence was like, oh, we're gonna go Tahiti, we're gonna go Japan, we're gonna go Rapa Nui, we're gonna do this. And they went and came back. They completed what they said, yeah? They set out goals and standards and they did it, yeah? That's a sign of excellence. That's the hard work of excellence. So I love telling this story. It's a freaking beautiful story. It's so funny. So Uncle said that as she got older, it was high school, she went to a booth and it was a Kauinoa booth. They're like, oh, come sign. And so she went over there, she's like, oh, what is this for? And they're like, oh, just sign your name. Sign your name, you get this, you get all this shirt, stickers, whatever. And they're like, oh, but what is it for? And they're like, oh, and they didn't even know what they were doing it for either, yeah? They're just like, oh, to make Hawaii a better place. And then she stopped, she looked at the paper, she looked at the dad, she's like, we good, yeah? We don't need to do this. In her mind already, her perspective of what excellence was and what doing good for Hawaii was already her lifestyle. And she figured out that signing a piece of paper was not a part of that. And that's the beauty of it, and that's what Ma'o has done. This guy, I don't know if you guys know this guy, but some of you guys probably do, William Ayla Sr., longtime resident kupuna of this āina, yeah, Wai'anae, probably known very well on Oahu as a whole and in Las Vegas, yeah. Kind of dark, but he actually was one of our mentors when I first started, and his motto is, in order to succeed in life, you must be able to love, respect, and have the willingness to work. And I, now for myself, I live by these words, because he lives by these words every day of his life, and this is what his tutu man told him. And you know, as young adults, sometimes we don't catch that until we're later on in our life, which is a shame, I feel. But having him there working with us, having him tell us the stories that he had with his tutu man, with his tutu wahine, and like, you could just see the glow in all the interns' eyes to have a grandpa there. I personally don't know both of my grandparents as much. I only know one of my grandmothers, but hardly around. And this guy, he stepped up and was that for me, and it's a lot. He taught me a lot. When I started in the internship, I kind of evolved, and I didn't, it's like, they put me to a standard and I surpassed it. They put me to another standard and I surpassed it. And a lot of it was because I was so motivated to go to school. I was getting like A's and B's at LCC, and then like working hard at school kind of correlated to working hard at the farm, because I knew both took a lot of time and energy and commitment, and I was all about that. I had something to value. I wanted that degree. I wanted that pala pala. because I wanted to be in a place where I can be able to teach and talk to people, or be able to be in the presence of others to have a conversation with them, yeah? So we have a step-up internship program now because I was partly that pioneer for that position. And these guys actually, and many more of the young interns are in those programs now where they're actually stepping up to teach the younger interns. They're actually having conversations about how to run a business, having conversations of how to farm, and so many other things of being a leader. And I was able to create this relationship a lot more deeper with our farmers markets, the restaurant people that we sell to, our CSA customers. And then I actually pushed on Uncle Gary. Uncle Gary is like one of the co-founders of Maui Organic Farms, and he does more of the director stuff for the farm. And I told him, like, brah, like, learn how to drive on tractor. And like he was kind of like putting it off, and I was just like persevering. I was like, brah, like, learn how to drive on tractor, because I never grew up around that kind of stuff, and I really wanted to do it. And he taught me, and this also made the Honolulu Weekly, which is awesome. And I started creating this pathway, this auai that we like to call the terminology on the farm, this auai for more farmers. Because as I started succeeding, other interns started to succeed. Yeah. So I was like a part of the first class of the youth leadership training program. So I got my AA in liberal arts and in a certificate in community food security with the farm. They helped us, or they have these classes sit that we take, and we get those stuff, and then extend to the auai. So from here, I went and transferred to UH Manoa and got into Hawaiinuiakea, the School of Hawaiian Knowledge, and finished up over there. But during that, so when I went there, it was so crazy. I was working, so after I graduated, I got offered a full-time job as a co-manager with the guy next to me to the right, Manny Miles at the time. So to actually help run the farm and learn more in depth about the business and stuff. And I was going to school full-time, and I was working full-time. So as I was going to Manoa, I used to catch the bus only to Manoa twice a week, and catch the bus home. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, work all my 10 hours a day, like farmer schedule. And Tuesday, Thursdays was just school. But it's so crazy. I don't even remember how I passed everything, to be honest. I don't even remember having a life, but I had something to value. I wanted that palapala. I wanted to continue to be that role model. I wasn't afraid of failure, so I just went. Yeah, I did what I needed to do. Yeah, along with those opportunities, I got to go travel, and I went to Italy for the Slow Food Conference. This is fresh calamari and Cinque Terre. I got to go to Pattaya, Thailand. Got to have a seat at a table with Michelle Obama. Yeah, this is something she said. I've heard about all the, kupuna aunties. I don't know if you guys can read it, so I'll read it for you guys. I've heard about all that's going on here for years and years. I jumped at the opportunity to come and not just see for myself, but also allow the world to see what you're all doing. So people like that were starting to see what we're doing, starting to see the good and all the stuff we was doing, and to be recognized nationally and internationally is a huge thing. Yeah, really, really huge thing. And it helped me grow just sitting there. Yeah. She get arms. Look at her arms. You see her arms? Frick. I lost, by the way, in that arm wrestling match. But then I got my BA in Hawaiian Studies, and then I don't know how I did it either. I was on the dean's list. I just looked at my transcript again to see what was my GPA, because I wanted to throw up here, because I knew there's a correlation of hard work at school and hard work at the farm. And I was like, oh dang, I was on the dean's list. But it just shows that you can do it. Yeah, we just think we cannot, or we put in the situations that we're just gonna fail. Yeah, because everybody else thinks we're gonna fail. Sometimes a lot of it is belief, man. You gotta believe, and you gotta have that passion to be able to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. So after I graduated, I was kind of in this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody has those moments. Yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to be on the farm. I didn't know if I wanted to continue school. I didn't know, if I wanted to do another job. Yeah, so I kind of had to look back, you know, at what I was doing. Yeah. Anybody need pohaku? You get choke. But, you know, these two lovely women, Auntie Moana and Auntie Manu Meyer, have been amazing for me in my leadership and mentorship. Auntie Manu especially. So after I graduated, I actually went down to New Zealand because that's where she was living at the time. So I lived with her for a month and actually did a little internship and about the stuff that she was doing down there. So she was at Te Wananga Aotearoa as a program and as a program director and an instructor for this Master in Applied Indigenous Knowledge. I don't know if you guys can see it really close, but all the students here, nobody is like less than 40, yeah? All this is kupuna. So these guys, so this program, what it did is it gave the opportunities for kupuna to get a degree in their cultural practice. So if there was a wood carver who'd been doing it for his whole life, that he learned from his kupuna, he could get a degree in that. You know, you just had to do your research, do a couple projects or other things involved. If you're, like Auntie Manu said, one of them was like, told her like, oh, I can call on the spirits. She's like, ooh, come to the program. I want to know how you call on the spirits. And what this is it gave an opportunity for these people to share their knowledge, and that not all knowledge can be found in a college system. It's found through practice and through education of your parents, your grandparents, yeah. So like just being able to be in that space, and like one of this woman, the woman in the middle, oh man, what is her name? Forget her name. She's the karanga for the Queen's Marae, the King's Marae. So whenever they have their protocol, what is it called? Pofiri? Going blank. She's the one that calls people in, yeah? She calls out, and she's the one that calls out and let people, they do their protocols and stuff. So those women, they get action, bruh. But she was like, she had so much money, you could feel it, like sitting next to her. Yeah, and they gave an opportunity for these guys. So being in that space, I was like, what the hell? Like, wow. There's more than what I just experienced in my whole life. And for my age, I feel like I did a lot already. Like, I traveled to a few countries. Not saying I lived a full life, but like, it just opened my eyes. Like, there's so much more that I can do. Yeah. And then when I went on that trip, Auntie Manu's partner, she kind of told me this quote from one of her, I think her great grandmother. It was her dying words, and it was, my child, you're only a moment between two eternities, past and future. So hasten and come to the terms with the circumstances of your time. My child, you're only a moment between two eternities. I don't know how long that stuck with me, ever since the first time I heard it. Just that quote and that conversation that came with that quote made me realize that I'm the connector between my kupuna and the future. And we all know this. We talk about it so lightly sometimes. We don't really think about it and reflect on it. But we really, if you want to draw out, the eternity sign that we all probably are familiar with, we're at that point. Yeah, what are we doing to continue this? Are we breaking it? Or are we continuing to have it to be eternal? Yeah, and one of Auntie Manu's mentors, she told me a quote that he used to say. And he said, knowledge as a sequence of immortality. Yeah, Kupuna Sanikini, he's a practitioner of Ho'oponopono. He's a pohaku. So that's the person who facilitates Ho'oponopono. Yeah, knowledge is a sequence of immortality. The knowledge that you have, the knowledge that you guys have is immortal. Yeah, we are immortal beings. Yeah, and it's what you choose to remember and what you choose to relearn and what you choose to reteach. And as as 25 years old, when I heard this, I was just like, oh my God, I want to change the world. But then I humbled myself and was like, bro, my kupuna have been doing it for thousands of years already. Yeah, for thousands of years. What is the small things that I need to do? What is the things that I need my peers to do? What is the things I need my family to do? What is the things I need for my community to do? Yeah. And then after that, when I came back from New Zealand, I was like, this is my classroom. Even though I graduated from school, this is my new classroom. Yeah, with all these interns, all these peers, I'm the teacher now. And I'm also a student still yet, learning with these guys. Yeah, so I like to think of them as, working with the land. There's a lot of things, I've been on the farm for about almost 8 years now, and I've seen the land change. We move things around, made fields here, add water here, do this here, plant there. And what I personally notice is all this native Hawaiian plants coming back. So this is koali, this is ahuava. Not only, they might seem like weeds, but they're la'au plants, yeah, they're healing plants, yeah. And all they needed was the water, the wai, the opportunity. That's our young adults. That's our keiki, our appeal. They're the seeds inside the soil that has not been watered. Yeah. So for me is what am I doing to water those seeds? What am I doing to help them grow? Am I just watering them and letting them die, or am I going to continue to water them? Yeah. Rapid. Yeah. So our youth leaders are our native plants. We gotta grow them, man. We gotta. We don't want things to become extinct. We lost so much already during the contact of foreigners, yeah. Just through disease, a lot of disease. The decline of our ancestors went down so much, down 80%, and that's 80% of knowledge that we don't know, yeah, collectively. But the native Hawaiians we do have, we're the strong ones. Supposedly, yeah, we still here, yeah. Our kupuna, they must have had some kind of strain in them, yeah, some kind of characteristics to keep them going, yeah. So why stop? Are we gonna kill that now? Are we gonna stop watering that? And that's what I always think about when I do when I work at the farm, if we're only a moment between two eternities, my moment can either kill it or make it keep going, yeah? Yeah, so we grow food, yeah, salad. We do our CSAs where people can buy a box of veggies and they get it once a week or once every other week. And in that, we truly cultivate people, because as young leaders, I think as technology is advancing more and more, we forget the value of hard work, just the physical hard work sometimes. We truly forget the value, and we don't use it as much as we can. These guys, we all young. Well, I'm young still, yeah, but I'm growing older now. But these guys, they're 18 to 21 years old. They should be able to pull rocks. They should be able to bend over for puis. We should be able to harvest hundreds of pounds of salad and kale. Yeah, we're active. We should be active. We should be in those places. Yeah, the average age for a farmer in Hawaii is about 60, 65. But on our farm, the average age without Uncle Gary, if you take him out, because he's 40 something. If you take him out, it's the average age is 21, 21 point something. With him, it's 30 something, because he's that 148-year-old, I think. But we're a young farm, yeah, and we can do big things. And I think we all, well, for me, I won't speak for all of us, but I think why the work that I do is truly to continue this vision or this place of ancestral abundance, yeah. Kamu talks about it. Kamuela Enos, he's a co-worker of mine, and he talks about ancestral abundance, how what are you doing today? Like, we want that vision of like, we want that place where food everywhere, tons of resources, our āina, our kai, and our wai are fully restored. You know, our people can go out and do what they want culturally, intellectually, physically. Like, we want all of that back. And, you know, that's where we're kind of driving towards, yeah? In the kind of work that we do at the farm. And being able to expand the young adults to start thinking like that, yeah? There is opportunities for us to do that kind of thing our kupuna did, yeah? We just gotta accept now that it's not back in the day. But what we truly are doing now is just a 21st century version of what our kupuna did in the 18, 17, 1600s and before. Yeah? We want this moment. This is my baby brother. You want them to enjoy the beauty of our āina. Yeah, you don't want that to go away. Because I know we all enjoyed it so much in our own lifetime. Yeah? And probably the lifetimes we had before and after, but we want them. We want this for them, yeah? Kind of closing off. I'm just kind of giving you, I don't really have a lesson. I'm just hopefully giving you ideas and a feel of what I have experienced on the farm and going to school and understanding the hard work of everything and how everything relates to each other. Oh, the end is off. But since graduating, I got asked to write a chapter in the Valley of Hawaii too, and it's pretty much another version of my story. It's called Transformation. I'm actually now with my fellow Kili'i, she's right here. We're in the First Nations Futures Fellowship Program, so it's a leadership program that partners with Stanford University, Te Ruranga o Ngātahu, and Hawaiinuiakea. And pretty much it's a year-long fellowship, and you learn, like we just came back from our Lalepa conference, or I don't know, get together, I guess you want to say. So it was a bunch of site visits and sessions with Oiwi leaders, yeah? So all these Native Hawaiian leaders, and truly opened my mind more and gave confirmation of the things that I'm doing now should be continued and should be put into other communities. It's hard, it's tough, but that's the beauty of it, yeah? You learn so much during the tough times. You know, like things be easy, and I love them so much. They're my new family when I'm not at home. But we actually are working on a project. We're creating a land plan for Hualalai Ranch in the Ahupua'a of Ka'upulehu on the Big Island. So Kamehameha Schools has a whole chunk of land in Ka'upulehu, and Hualalai Ranch is the leases of it. They're giving up their lease, and we're trying to figure out what to do with it, whether it be educational, cultural, conservative, you know. It's us, it's up to us, and we want to be able to put that in the right place, yeah, and going along with other awesome programs that's going on in Ka'upulehu. Our CSA program, so the boxes of vegetables that I kind of shortly talked about, so you can buy a box of vegetables, you can sign up online and you get whatever the best, you get the best products that we have on the farm at that day. And there's a whole bunch of sites and stuff like that. If you want more information, you can talk to me about it after. And this is my group that we farm with. We were at Waiahole, and we checked out Waiahole. Uncle Gary, well, he was in school. He did a lot of research on Waiahole and the water issues over there. And Paul and Charlie Ripoon are awesome. They're probably like the most badass intellectual farmers ever. Yeah, they both went to Harvard, I think. And they're the smartest farmers you'll ever know. And they're doing so much good stuff. But we went there for a visit, kind of got get together, but I'm the oldest, I'm 25. And like the youngest here farming is 22. So our team is still young, we're learning a lot. We're learning a lot with each other, from each other, making a lot of mistakes with each other. And but that's the beauty of our program, is that we're growing from within. We're not seeking outside resources to help us, even though it is good and valuable, for us to learn from other places and other people. But it's so much better, I feel, to learn from within as well. And that's about it for me, if there's any questions. I don't know if that was 45 minutes, but.
What kind of opportunities do young farmers have for their future? Do you want to become a farmer, or how do you transition to what kind of jobs are you guys looking to have that's going to sustain you and your family in the future?
Yeah, so through the program, we definitely want to create more farmers. I mean, that's a part of the mission, but we have, over the years, gained a lot of good relationships with outside people outside of Maui. So like Kamehameha schools, the Kapua program has been a great partners for us. So like Pua, Shea, and Jessica are in that externship track where they extern with another community partner and go down that track. And then the main goal for us is to get these guys to continue on to go to school. So after they graduate, we, as much as we can, help them find the resources, kind of motivate them to go on to get their 4-year degree. And then there is opportunities within the farm. Like, so you've seen the past group, this group, so all these guys, the only reason why they have a job is because we worked so hard that we made positions for them to be on our team. Yeah, so the beautiful thing is like the farm is like, we will, if we have enough money to hire another intern, because that's what we want, and we need more leaders, yeah, and we need more people to train. And if this idea, it would be good if this idea only works for Wai'anae, but it would be great if this idea works for other communities as well. And we're gonna need these kind of people, yeah, who know the system, who knows the trials and tribulations, who's been through it themselves. So there is like slowly opening positions on the farm, but it's like correlation of like how much we push each other to make money outside, yeah. And then there's, there's other great opportunities too that we're trying to figure out just within, there's no really pathway going through it, but like people working with like the restaurants, if they're into food. So one of our interns at the time, Kelly Pittman, she's now working with Mark Noguchi and doing a lot of good food stuff, and she's working at the airport, I forget the name of it, Pili. She's working with like the Pili group and stuff like that. So she does a lot of like catering stuff, and she's like stepping up and being like a own chef and being able to own her own restaurant and stuff like that. So there are opportunities. It's not all clear yet, and that's the thing about it too. And Tikukui talks about like, if we're only gonna create farmers and try to keep them here in our, it's a beautiful thing to keep them within our program, but the only way, or in our community, but the only way they're gonna learn sometimes if they gotta go out, they gotta go do things on their own. So I think a couple people are going to, a couple people wanna be lawyers, a lot of them wanna own their own businesses, and we're there to support them in finding community partners to help them with their business plans or whatever, or to get into school and get more training and more education on that stuff. So yeah. Yes?
Do you have a program for students who are not too interested in regular school, like on the verge of dropping out?
As of right now, no, we do not, because the way that the program was created was you gotta be in school, and you gotta be, in order to work on the farm, you gotta be in school. So, because school is very important, and a lot of our, like our funding for the schools and like tuition and stuff like that is like through like grants and stuff. So we gotta reach up to that protocol and stuff, yeah. These guys, we get paid from the farm. But if you're youth leaders in the youth leadership training program, it's all like grants and fundraisers and stuff like that. So there's like certain protocol you gotta follow, and one of them is that you have to be enrolled in school and going to school full time. Yeah. We don't have one, but we definitely know that sometimes school is not the place for all people, and we're just not at that point yet. Hopefully, if later down the line and in expansion, sometimes we're just gonna need workers, yeah, and people who love to work. So hopefully in the future, yeah. But as of right now, we only have an educational program. There's another question I see, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in a farming community on the mainland, and a lot of farmers are really suffering on the mainland now. And over here, I'm not familiar with the farmer coming over here, but I am familiar with the development taking place on this island. A lot of new places being built and things like that. Does your group ever discuss the fact that you guys might run into trouble with more development on the Wai'anae Coast?
Yeah, actually, our educational resource specialist, Angela Hoppy Cruz, she's from Guam. She's Chamorro, so she's originally from Guam, and she moved here. She met the Hoppy family, so she married into the Hoppy family, and she lives in Makaha. And she sees these things happening, and she's so at our check-ins, like there's a big circle, like a panorama of like a big group. So in that circle, there's a lot of information that circles around. So it's stuff about scholarships, education, community events, things that we learn on our own, and definitely like all this development stuff that are happening, and the prices for houses and homes here are skyrocketing, and we're getting information about it. And then about a few years ago, damn it, what was it called? The Purple Spot. There was a big community development thing that was going on at the Alice, yes. Behind like Nānākuli area, and a whole bunch of us. Yeah, in the back of Lualualei. And there's pretty much the whole internship went to like a lot of the meetings, and we testified like crazy. So you would see a line of just like 25 kids from our program saying, I don't like this here. We like farm. We know how to farm. You know, we don't want more buildings. We don't want this. We don't want more housing. We need food. You know, if we're gonna have so much people live here, where are we gonna grow our food? And we definitely have been involved in things like that as well. Yeah, and it's definitely not. It's not a part of the program. It's just a part of that community thing that you gotta just get involved with, yeah. So we went to the community meetings, went to Kapolei to testify. You know, some of us even went to the site with Auntie Alice them and just talk stories and learn the history of things, get involved with the community leaders in Wai'anae. So it's definitely there, and we're getting educated about it, and you know, trying as much as possible get proactive about it. Yes, Auntie.
Can I add a little bit of that?
Yes.
Anyway, the land you're talking about, if the land is supplied food land with all of their lands, the farmers over there was very Mr. Higa. I remember we had a letter from Miss Burns, Dr. Burns' wife, and she said that the vegetables over there that grew there, she ate it, was very healing. And that's the birthplace of the demigod Maui. So we fought, and thank you guys so much for, they really was the one that led the whole thing in protecting of our cultural sites and of our agricultural sites. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You taught us. Sometimes you just gotta listen, yeah? So, any other questions? All right, mahalo.